Hi, I'm Jules. My viewership has been expanding recently. Hello, new viewers, welcome. I recognize that some of you are more familiar with Ken Wilber's integral theory color names and tiers than with the spiral dynamics color names and tiers that I use on this channel. So I figure it's time to do a little video on translating from one system to the other. The original spiral dynamics color names used by Don Beck and Christopher Cohen, the authors of the Spiral Dynamics book, only went up through coral. They based their stages on Clare Graves' levels of existence, which used letter combinations to name each stage. Beck and Cohen used these color names as a mnemonic device for the characteristics of the stages. In their book, they say that beige represents savanna grasslands. Purple is the royal color of tribal chiefs and monarchs. Red alludes to hot-blooded emotions and the fire in your eyes. Blue is the sky, the heavens, and the true blue believer. Orange represents radiating energy of steel in an industrial furnace. Green is green politics, forests, and ecological consciousness. Yellow is solar power and alternative technologies. Turquoise is the color of oceans and Earth as viewed from space. And coral represents life deep within the seas. They also alternated between warm and cool colors to represent the alternation between individually oriented versus group-oriented stages. If you want an explanation of that alternation, I recommend checking out the overview videos that I did on spiral dynamics, and I'll link those in the description below. So all of these warm colors, beige, red, orange, yellow, and coral, are individually oriented stages, and all of the cool colors, purple, blue, green, and turquoise, are group-oriented stages. Graves, Beck, and Cohen all theorized that there were more stages after coral, but they didn't name them or describe them, stating perfectly validly, I think, that they didn't have enough data. Then Peter Marey used teal as the name for the stage after coral, and he referred to the last two colors as orange 2 and green 2, respectively. This system is delineated into 2 tiers of 6 stages each. As I understand it, Beck and Cohen did this to emphasize the spiral nature of development and how these tiers can be considered as going through similar processes at different levels. So, for example, yellow can be considered a higher octave of beige, turquoise a higher octave of purple, coral a higher octave of red, etc. Peter Marey actually does an excellent job of explaining this in an article which I will also link in the description below. It's for this reason that he used the names orange 2 and green 2 for the last 2 stages of tier 2, so that it's clear that orange 2 is a higher octave of orange and green 2 is a higher octave of green. This model is usually only depicted with 2 tiers, although people who use this model, including myself, sometimes refer to a 3rd tier. When a 3rd tier is mentioned in the system, it's referring to development beyond this stage. I got the last 2 colors that I use from Chris on Shores of Infinity. They continue the warm and cool color alternation, so coral is warm, teal is cool, plum is warm, aubergine is cool. So I like that. Plum and aubergine are both types of purple, so they're very similar to each other, which I actually like because it can represent how opposites like individual versus group identity progressively integrate together as you develop, which is especially apparent as you get to the end of tier 2. And then here are Ken Wilber's integral theory stage names, which he based on spiral dynamics. He changed the colors to a rainbow spectrum. He did this because he wanted to represent the frequencies of energy at the different stages. So in his system, less developed stages are represented with lower frequencies of light like red and orange, and more developed stages are represented with higher frequencies of light like green, turquoise, indigo, and violet. He still kept several of the original color names in place. So red is the same, orange is the same, green is the same, and turquoise is the same. But he changed others to make his spectrum work. So beige became infrared, purple became magenta, blue became amber, yellow became teal, coral became indigo, and then he continued the rest. Ending with clear light or white. I've seen him use both terms to represent the last stage that's equivalent to aubergine. He did that to represent how the experience of this last stage is non-duality, and so it includes everything. It's this feeling of being everything, and white light is all of the colors of light. I suspect clear light is kind of a similar feeling of clarity, transparency, being able to see absolute truth, that kind of thing. For the most part, these color changes aren't a problem because they don't like the color names don't show up in each other's systems mostly. Infrared doesn't show up in the spiral dynamic system. Beige does not show up in Ken Wilber's integral theory system. Similarly with magenta doesn't show up in spiral dynamics. Purple he replaces with violet, so those names are different even though the colors are very similar. The one place where it can get confusing is the color name teal. It shows up in both systems, and it represents different stages in each system. So because of this, for the sake of clarity, I sometimes refer to a stage by its color names in both systems, particularly when talking about the two stages that are called teal. For example, if I'm referring to the stage that comes after green stage, I might refer to it as yellow teal. And if I'm referring to this third stage from the end, I might call it teal violet. If I forget to do this and I just call a stage teal, I am most likely referring to the stage after coral indigo, this teal. Wilber also changed the tiers and started his tier 3 at coral indigo. So his tier 1 has the same 6 stages as the spiral dynamics tier 1. His tier 2 has only 2 stages, and his tier 3 has 4 stages here. He did this to emphasize commonalities that these last 4 stages share with each other, like, for example, their deeply transpersonal nature. On this channel, when I refer to tier 2, I am almost always referring to the 6-stage version from Spiral Dynamics, from Don Beck and Christopher Cohen, unless I'm specifically talking about Wilber's system. Similarly, when I refer to a tier 3, I am almost always referring to development after aubergine clear light or aubergine white. So I hope that clarifies things. I'll put links to my sources in the description below in case you want to do further research for yourself. As always, feel free to ask questions in the comment section. Until next time, be well.